Mike, nice to see you again. We're here to chat about chapter 8 in your book, which is How Do We Start? I couldn't help but notice that you've got an ABC approach in this. Can you expand on that a little, please?
Yeah, this is a little framework that might help you sort of set an agenda for how you start a new Christian community. If I just run through it very quickly, ask God and ask a friend. Don't start on your own, form a team. Begin with what you've got. Don't start with a blank piece of paper. Think about your interests and your passions. Who could you share them with? Consult others. Try your ideas out on other people and just ask, do these people think it would work? D stands for dream up lots of ideas. Don't home in on one idea too quickly. Don't assume that you've got to have an all-age forest church, for example, or an all-age messy church. Ask yourself, well, might we do it differently? Might Minecraft church be a better idea? Experiment like crazy. Try your idea for a few months, see if it works. If it doesn't, then try something else. Follow the missional journey. This is the journey of listen, love, build community, share Jesus, encourage a community with the shape of church to emerge, and do it again. Follow the missional journey. And then G stands for God is the bottom line. And so immerse all that you do in prayer. That's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And, it's set out in the book. So if you've gone through that really, really quickly. So if you want to sort of stay with particular points, then by all means, just read the GodSend book.
I'm going to pick you up on just one of those things. You said consult other people. And I'm just wondering, in your view, why is that such an important step?
Well, you need to listen to God. You need to chat to God. You need to consult other people you're wanting to start an initiative with. You need to consult other people in the team. You may want to consult people who are praying for you. This is something we mention in the book quite often. It's really great to have a team of folks who are praying for you, maybe your friends, or maybe in the congregation on Sundays, that sort of thing. There may be other people who've got expertise in the area. They've worked with young people and you want to work with young people. So, consulting all these different people, it's common sense. And what gets me is time and again, I see people who don't do the common sense thing. I know a group, they say, oh, we're going to start an all age activity. They started a messy church. They didn't consult anyone. They didn't spend time listening to the potential parents, or they didn't spend time talking to people in the church, people who might have helped them actually if they'd been involved. They just shot in and hardly anyone turned up. Well, it's not really surprising. So if you consult people, you're doing the obvious thing, which is checking out if this thing is going to work, but you're also involving them from the stage one, particularly people who you want to work with, the sort of demographic group you're trying to love and serve. You're involving them in creating the initiative right from the beginning. So they're going to be much more committed to it. They'll become your volunteers and your helpers. But, there's something about spiritual humility involved. Yeah. I'm one of these people who just comes up with 100 brilliant ideas before breakfast. At least I think they're brilliant. My dear wife thinks they're absolutely awful. But if I just forge ahead with these ideas, I'm being incredibly arrogant. I'm just saying, well, I've got these ideas. I'm right. Let's go and do it. But time and again, I'm not right. And so it is that we need to test our ideas on other people, because God works through all these different people in order to help us and guide us and steer us. So why don't we take their advice? Why don't we just be a bit more patient, listen to people and see what they've got to say to us?
That's brilliant advice. I know you've said that in your chapter as well. You've said about making prayer a priority, which involves listening to God. And you were saying, listen to people around you, your team. And I'm just wondering, there will be people out there who will be saying, but I don't know very many people. I, seem to be in a situation where there aren't that many people who can support me or I can listen to them, that I just don't know very many people. What do we do then?
Yeah, let me give you some examples. I mean, one group of Christians, they didn't know the parents very well, so they went to the school gate, they took an urn of coffee, and once a week for a term, they gave parents free cups of coffee. And
Wow.
as they did so, they talked to them and began to get to know them. Hot chocolate, which is now an initiative, a community with young people up in Dundee, Scotland. It's been running, I think, for 12, 14 years now. They started with a group of Christians taking mugs of hot chocolate to teenagers who are hanging out in the city centre. And that's why they became known as Hot Chocolate, because they got to know the young people. They found that the young people wanted to rehearse a thrash metal band. So they offered them the church building in which to do that. And they built the relationships, and then it all developed from that. I know a head teacher, and she went and volunteered to help in a school and did some of the grotty, horrible admin work. And then eventually they discovered she was a head teacher, and they got her involved in doing other things, and she built the relationships that way. Other people I know have worked, volunteered to work in a pub or in a bar, serving the drinks and getting to know people that way. You can, you can walk the neighborhood. You and your team might walk the neighborhood. And if I was doing that, I would make pay special attention to getting to know people in the neighborhood who knows lots of other people. So maybe there's a hairdresser, or maybe the general practice, the GPs, the medical people, or maybe there's a corner shop which serves the neighborhood, or maybe there's a cafe. Well, I would find I would ask them, when is it a convenient time for me to come and have a chat with you? And then I'd come and have a chat with them and find out what they know about the neighborhood. Do they know other people that they can put me in touch with? These people that I've suggested, the hairdresser, the corner shop, the policeman, they all know people around that, and they can put you in touch with them. So go and spend special time talking to them. Maybe later on say, can we as a church do anything with you to serve the local neighborhood? Maybe a local business, or a local pharmacy or something, or a corner shop. Why don't we just do a barbecue for all the neighborhood one summer? Free barbecue. Why don't we do that together? And then you see who shows up, and you build it from there. So these are some of the ways that I would try and establish relationships with people. May not know them very well. Okay, let's get out there, find these very simple approaches that will help us to get to know people. And all the time, I'm thinking of a little phrase that she was a research psychologist at Cambridge University called Sarah Savage. And she said that to be listened to is as close to being loved as to make no difference. To be listened to is as close to being loved as to make no difference. So if what I've described sounds to you like hard work, it's going to take time, it's going to be slow, then just keep saying to yourself, what am I doing? What do we as a team do? We're listening to people. Why are we doing that? Because to listen to people is as close to loving them as to make no difference.
That's just a brilliant reminder of how important that part of that missional journey, which you referred to several times, the listen, love, and building that community, that's what it's doing all of the time. And I guess in itself, each stage is important. We can't rush them.
Each stage has its own integrity, you can't rush them. God often moves at a slow pace, and we need to move with him. Move at the pace of a bridle way rather than a motorway. That's what I sometimes say to people. Let's travel at the pace of a bridle way, not a motorway, because that's the pace that God travels at. And he does that because relationships are often slow. And so he's traveling at our pace. He could travel much, much faster, of course, but he's so gracious that he travels at our pace. So we need to travel at the pace of other people who we're listening to and developing friendships with.
Thank you so much for that, Mike. We will indeed come together again and discuss the next chapter. We've been talking about Mike's book, GodSend, which you can order from Amazon. Thank you, Mike.